All right.
Hey, how's it going, y'all? Welcome back to TUTV. My name's Jack.
I'm Joseph. How's it
And
going?
yeah, we've had a little bit of a break. I mean, we still had shows the past 2 weeks, but we've been remote. We're finally back on campus.
Yeah.
And it's because it's been frozen over. It was frozen over here the past 2 weeks.
We got to see everyone on Zoom. Y'all got to see our whole faces for.
Yeah, entire faces. If you got a lot of dislike on the videos, I don't know why.
Yeah.
These past 2 videos had like tons of dislikes. I wonder if it was because of the way we looked. Hopefully
Probably.
not. But it was interesting. But I like being back here. You know, seeing you.
Oh yeah.
In person. You know, I can give them a little.
We do have a little bit of distance between us still. We're following regulations.
Of course. But it's just the idea that I could touch you if I wanted to.
Okay.
That sounds weird.
A little bit, but.
But yeah, we'll talk more about the weather coming up for the rest of this episode. But it was a mess. It was definitely a mess. Almost fell.
You almost fell?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you guys fell, put it in the comments, please. Let me feel better about myself. Love you guys. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back to TUTV News. I'm Christina Buhl.
And I'm Harry Lebowski, and let's jump right into the news stories this week.
After weeks of waiting, Oklahoma's teachers have finally moved up the priority list for the COVID-19 vaccine. On February 22nd, the Oklahoma State Department of Health opened up vaccine appointments to educators and staff of any age in schools teaching pre-K through 12th grade. In addition to the around 89,000 teachers being eligible for this round of vaccines, an estimated 1 million Oklahomans under the age of 65 with certain comorbidities will also have access to appointments. Deputy Health Commissioner Keith Reed says that this is a step in the much larger process of immunization, saying, quote, "Vaccine supply is still limited, but we are working hard to vaccinate as many Oklahomans as we can, as quickly as we can."
In a move that some have described as a direct attack on democracy, Republican lawmakers in Georgia have introduced a bill that would roll back access on mail-in and early voting. Following the false accusations of voter fraud from the former President Donald Trump, Republicans across the country have introduced over 100 bills to restrict voting access. Meanwhile, there are currently more than 400 bills in 35 states that seek to expand voting access. This bill in particular contains measures that would repeal both absentee voting without an excuse and automatic voter registration, which Georgia currently leads the country in. Multiple voter activism groups have pushed back against the bill, including the Georgia NAACP and Fair Fight Action, both of whom demand that a pause on deliberations be placed on the bill.
Tulsans are being advised to maintain conserving water following the severe winter weather conditions over the past week. On Saturday, there were 305 reported water main breaks impacting over 800 residences. Repair work continued through the weekend, and at last count, about 193 breaks have been repaired. Last Friday, city officials also issued a voluntary boil order in an attempt to curb water pressure issues and service outages. Voluntary boil orders are issued when conditions are present for a potential problem with the drinking water, but one has not been confirmed yet. These are common in the event of water main breaks, where the possibility of contamination exists, according to city officials.
Cryptocurrency's popularity with investors has been on the rise as of late, and Bitcoin is soaring in the ranks. On Friday, the price of one Bitcoin hit a new record high, clocking in at $55,000. The market value of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency as a whole recently hit $1 trillion. Only 4 companies in the United States are worth more than Bitcoin at this moment: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. In 2021, Bitcoin prices have surged 80% so far, and other cryptocurrencies, such as Ethereum and Dogecoin, have experienced similar growth. Currently, Bitcoin is worth about $225 billion more than Tesla, the stock largely responsible for its most recent surge.
After a 300 million mile journey that lasted 7 months, the Mars rover named Perseverance finally landed on the red planet last Thursday. The The rover successfully navigated through Mars's treacherous atmosphere, even with an 11-minute lag in communications with Earth. During its landing process, the rover slowed itself from over 12,000 miles per hour to just over 2 miles per hour using thrusters and a parachute. By tasking the rover with collecting soil samples from the planet, researchers hoped to perform experiments on Mars's atmosphere that would make it possible for humans to survive in it. Perseverance is the 9th robot that NASA has landed on Mars.
All right, so I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what cryptocurrency
I
is?
have absolutely no idea.
Okay, I thought it was the only. Okay, so I have a couple theories on what cryptocurrency could be.
Uh-huh.
Cryptocurrency could just be money for robots. They're just planning in advance for when they take over the world inevitably.
Yes,
They're starting an economy already.
So they already started, but they're like tricking us into thinking it's something that we can
Yeah,
use, but it's really for
because
them.
because I implore you in the comments, explain what cryptocurrency is, please, because I would like to invest and I would like to be prepared for the robot apocalypse.
Yeah, I'm just confused. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Christina.
And I'm Harry.
See you next week.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we have Matthew Murrie, who is the president of the Transfer Club. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Lily.
Awesome. Can you give our audience just a little bit of background about yourself? So what's your major, where you're from, what year you are?
Yeah, so I'm a Tulsa lifer, basically. I've been here since I can remember. And I am a junior at the University of Tulsa, and I am a business management major and economics minor.
Awesome. Can you talk about what the Transfer Club is and what its goal is?
Yeah, so the goal that we had with Transfer Club was to give as many opportunities for students to get to know each other in a new school that maybe they just transferred to, maybe they have been out for a little bit but still don't know people. Because for us, we all met because we were part of the transfer orientation for, I guess that was 2020, or yeah, it would have been 2020. And because of going through that and not knowing anyone except for each other, we wanted to give other kids that may not have even had that experience an opportunity to meet other people.
That's awesome. What events have you guys done in the past, and do you guys have any coming up?
In the past, we've done events such as online escape rooms, online trivia nights, and other online events, as well as in-person grab-and-go events where we would just give out candy, for instance, for Halloween and free food, stuff like that. We do have more coming up, and we are currently trying to figure out the expectations that we can follow for COVID, and we are thinking we can have more in-person events. Some that we've planned. This is kind of secret, so you guys will be the only ones that know, or the first to know, actually. So we have a tie-dye event planned. We have a couple other ones that are coming up. We had one that was for this week, but we're going to reschedule due to the effects of the week that we just had off with the snow days and everything. We want to give kids a chance to get caught up with all the schoolwork first. So if anyone wants that information, we will be having it in our group me and on our Instagram, which is at @utulsa_transfer club on Instagram, and all that information's on there. But we'll be updating it on there for the events that are coming up.
Awesome. How has the club been affected by COVID? What changes did you guys have to make?
So we were a club that started primarily after COVID was present. And because of that, we kind of had to start off following all the guidelines and having the majority of events be online. We have a meeting and an event each month, and with that, we've managed to do all of them at a distance, and it's actually worked out pretty well since that's all that we've been used to, really.
Awesome. Why did you decide to join the Transfer Club?
So back in the orientation for us transfer students, we were told by Stephen, I believe his title is organizer of student activities and student organizations. So I apologize if I got his title wrong, but Steve really was the one that came in and talked to us, and he was like, there's a club that has not been in effect or been in use for over 3 years. And we were like, well, this might be a good opportunity to have something that is an honor to be a part of, and also to help students meet each other. So after that happened, we were like, well, what positions do y'all want to be? And everyone chose a position, and the last one was president. And I was like, well, I guess I'll be president. So it kind of worked out that way. It was really fun to start off with the friends that I made in that club.
That's awesome. If someone is interested in joining the transfer club, what do they need to do? What time do you guys meet, and all of that stuff, jazz?
So we meet the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, usually at 7 p.m. for meetings. Our events we're starting to do are a little bit earlier, like around 5, because now that we can have some in-person events, we can do them with daylight. So we're going to do those a little bit earlier. But for all the information regarding when and where our events are going to be, that's just go to our Instagram at UTulsa_transfer club, and you'll have a link on there to join our group meet. And we are one of the clubs that has the lowest barrier to entry. All you have to do is join our group meet. That's it. And you're part of the club. And we thought it was a really good opportunity to not only have students meet each other, but also just to give out a bunch of free food and other things that we can give to you guys. So it's really fun for us just to have fun with you guys and to give out as much stuff as we can.
That is awesome. My last question for you is, what has been your favorite part for being president of the club? What is one of your top things that you think is amazing about your club?
I think it was really cool to see how quickly it grew in our member size, because I remember in the first, 6 months of the club, we were up to like around 50 members. And that was big for us because we had never started our own club. I personally had never been the president of a club. So that was cool for me to see. And it was cool to see all the transfers that we didn't know about, because I believe there's over 300 transfers that were incoming this past year. And many people had no idea that was the case. Even us transfers didn't know that. So we tried to get connected to them in all the ways that we could. And it's just been really cool to see all the connections that have been made through that.
That is amazing. Well, thank you so much, Matthew, for being here. And we are going to start heading off to the rest of the show.
Awesome. I'm glad to be here.
Hi, I'm Ethan. Welcome back to TUTV Sports.
And I'm Catherine. Let's jump right into the episode.
Naomi Osaka defeated Jennifer Brady in the Australian Open finals this past weekend to win the tournament. Osaka had been dominant throughout in her journey to winning the Australian Open, including a victory over Serena Williams, a legendary name in tennis. Osaka defeated Williams in the semifinals 6-3 and 6-4 to advance to the finals, where she beat Brady 6-4 and 6-3. Osaka is a rising star in tennis and has a grand total of 4 Grand Slam titles, 2 of which have occurred in the Australian Open. Osaka looks to keep this momentum going at the French Open this May.
The NHL hosted an outdoor game this past Saturday between the Las Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche at Lake Tahoe. The Avalanche struck early with a goal in the first period by Samuel Girard just under 3 minutes into the game. However, unsafe ice conditions led to the game being delayed after the first period ended. The game was initially scheduled for 2 p.m. Central Time and resumed play at 11 p.m. Central following the delays. Alec Martinez of the Knights scored the second goal of the game to tie it up. This goal came precisely 9 hours after the first goal was scored. The Colorado Avalanche would gain an edge on the Golden Knights late in the game to win by a score of 3-2.
The TU Golden Hurricane basketball team looked to bounce back in their game against Temple last Tuesday after a couple of tough losses. TU got off to a very quick start and held the lead towards an 8-point advantage at the half. TU's offense continued to click throughout the game, and they finished with a win by a score of 72-66 over Temple. Elijah Joyner led the team with 17 points and 3 assists. TU will play their next game against Cincinnati this Wednesday, February 24th.
The TU women's basketball team had 2 games this past week. They hosted Temple last Wednesday, playing well but ultimately losing 68-46. Maddie Bittle led the team in scoring with 10 points that game. Later in the week, they traveled to UCF to face the Knights. This game came down to the wire, but UCF would clinch the win with a score of 55-53, despite Maya Mabry's team leading 17-point effort. The women's basketball team looks to bounce back this Saturday against Cincinnati.
The season for the Tulsa Oilers is well underway. So far, the Oilers have 11 wins, 12 losses, and 2 overtime losses this season, which puts them in 11th place in the standings. Forward Danny Moynihan leads the Oilers in points with 20 from 11 goals and 9 assists in only 26 games. The Oilers have a 3-game series against the Kansas City Mavericks this coming weekend as they look to turn their season around, so be sure to tune in to TUTV for more updates. That outdoor hockey game is crazy. I didn't even know they could do that.
I know, and the fact that it was cancelled for ice.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I feel like they had to see the fact that the snow could affect the conditions of the ice. They had to see that coming. I feel like they could have planned around that.
I know. Well, like last week, it was crazy here, wasn't it?
Yeah, we could have played a hockey game with
we
some
could
of the
have.
ice patches. I mean, you'd be fine for a bit, and all of a sudden you hit like a ice patch and you go sliding.
No, I was definitely playing some hockey games out there whilst walking.
So that's all we have for today. See you next week.
Bye.
Hi, welcome back to TU Entertainment. I'm David Jeffalone.
And I'm Kate Kaler. Here's your entertainment wrap-up for the week.
Reality TV star Kim Kardashian West has filed for divorce from rapper and former presidential candidate Kanye West. The pair of highly influential public influencers first announced their relationship in 2012 before marrying 2 years later in 2014. Now, after 6.5 years of marriage, the couple, dubbed Kimye by fans and media outlets, will be parting ways due to irreconcilable differences. The couple is seeking joint custody of their 4 children, whose ages range from 7-year-old North to 21-month-old Sam. The news of this divorce marks the end of one of the most publicized celebrity relationships in recent years.
Disney is set to release its latest animated movie, titled Raya and the Last Dragon, next week. Raya and the Last Dragon is the first Disney movie to represent Southeast Asia. The story follows Raya, a young girl on a quest to find the last dragon in order to save her world from evil. The film is set in the fictional land of Kumandra, which is inspired by the culture of several different Southeast Asian countries. The film has been met with some criticism for indistinctly blending together the different cultures of Southeast Asia and consisting of a predominantly East Asian cast. Raya and the Last Dragon will debut in theaters and on Disney Plus Premier Access on March 5th, 2021.
Singer Demi Lovato has revealed her upcoming YouTube docuseries titled Demi Lovato with Dancing with the Devil. The 4-part docuseries on the 28-year-old pop singer's struggle with drug addiction leading up to her near-fatal overdose in 2018. The trailer, which was released last Wednesday, shocked fans, revealing that Lovato was left with brain damage following the incident, among other details. YouTube Originals stated that the series is, quote, an intimate portrait of addiction and the process of healing and empowerment, end quote. Dancing with the Devil will be released on YouTube Originals next month on March 23rd.
Buckingham Palace released an official statement last Friday stating that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are splitting away from the royal family. The couple first stepped away from their royal duties in March of 2020 due to tensions with the British media. According to the palace's statement, Queen Elizabeth II spoke with her grandson Harry and confirmed that the couple, quote, will not be returning as working members of the royal family, end quote. Harry and Meghan will be stripped of their various roles and will no longer receive public funds. However, they will retain their titles as Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and Harry remains 6th in line for the throne. The palace asserted that, quote, while all are saddened by their decision, the Duke and Duchess remain much-loved members of the family.
Disney has released the official trailer for the upcoming live-action film Cruella. The trailer comes a day after Disney released a teaser image featuring lead actress Emma Stone as Cruella de Vil. The film is considered a prequel to the 101 Dalmatians franchise, focusing on the origins of one of cinema's most enduring villains, Cruella de Vil. Cruella is set in the 1970s punk rock movement in England and follows a young Cruella de Vil as she makes a name for herself on the streets of London. Cruella is set to hit theaters this year on May 28th. I'm really excited for the Cruella film. I used to watch 101 Dalmatians, back to back, just with a dinner break. What do you feel?
You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Emma Stone, so I'm not the most excited. I feel like it was kind of a bad casting choice, but
Yeah, but I
know.
mean, you gotta cut him some slack. It's a good like franchise. I really enjoyed so.
yeah, but I'm more excited for the other movie, because they haven't put out original content in a very long time.
Yeah,
So.
me too. Well, that's it for this week. We'll see you next week.
Welcome back to TUTV. Today we are teaching you how to play chess, the game that is infamous for being hard to master, but I promise it's easy to learn. So we're going to start with how the pieces move. There are 6 total pieces, and we're going to start with learning how the pawns move. So we're starting with the pawns because you have 8 of them, so it's pretty useful to know how most of your pieces work. The interesting thing about the pawn is they only move forward. And on the first move, they can move 2 spaces, but in any move after that, they can only move 1. So on the first move, you may be able to move like this. Maybe this guy only decides to move 1 space on the first turn, but after you've made 1 move, you can't move 2 anymore because the pawn gets a little tired. So an interesting thing to keep in mind with the pawn, though, is, for example, if we have this position, these pawns actually can't capture each other. They can only capture diagonally forward. So for example, these pawns right here, they can't move. They're stuck in place. While these pawns, for example, if it's white's turn, they can capture diagonally. So if you're in this position, then this pawn is safe, but these pawns can both attack each other. Another thing to keep in mind with pawns is they're kind of like babies who haven't fully grown up. Because if you're able to get your pawn all the way across the board, you can turn it into any type of piece that you want. For example, the queen, the most powerful piece, which we'll go over soon. So the next piece we're going to talk about is the bishop, this guy. And they move basically like an X. They move diagonally. And they can move as many spaces as they want. Now it's important to note that every piece, except for the knight, which we'll talk about at the end, can't jump over pieces. So for example, this bishop can move as far as they want along this diagonal. They can also move as far as they want along this diagonal, but they can't, for example, go to this square because it's blocked by the knight. But it can capture the knight, like so. In the same way, you can't capture your own pieces. So even though that this rook is along the same diagonal as the bishop, it's being blocked by my own piece. The rook moves basically the same way as a bishop, but instead of like an X diagonally, it moves like a plus sign horizontally and vertically. So it can move like this, and it can move like this. In the same way, it can't jump over pieces, and that's a theme that you'll see with most of them. A queen is the result of a rook and a bishop loving each other very much. So it can move the same squares that a bishop and a rook can move. So it can move like a plus sign, like a rook, and it can also move like an X diagonally, like a bishop. This is the most powerful attacking piece because of all of the different ways that it can move. Now we have the king, which is basically a lazier version of the queen, where it can move in any direction, but it can only move 1 space in each direction. Finally, we have the knight, which is definitely the weirdest of all of the pieces. It moves like an L, like so. So any of these black pawns, this white knight is capable of capturing right now. So we can kind of see the L shape we have going on there. One of the most interesting parts of the knight is that no piece can block it. It is the only piece capable of jumping. So, for example, if it were completely surrounded by pawns right now, it would still be able to capture any of the black pawns like so. The goal of the game is to trap your enemy's king so that they're being threatened and they have nowhere to run. If you're the first to do that, then you win. So the goal of the game, of course, is to keep your king defended while attacking your opponent's king. So for example, if white goes here, black has checkmate and has won the game because the queen is attacking the king. The king has nowhere to run because all of these squares are being attacked by the queen, and he can't capture the queen because the queen is being defended by the bishop. So if he tried to do that, then he would be taken by the bishop. So this position right here is checkmate and black is won.
It's important to remember that chess is fun at all levels. You know, whenever you play a video game, you aren't really expecting to become the best in the world at it. You know, you're expecting to win some and lose some. I would say the best part of winning is you get that ego boost, but the best part of losing is you end up learning more from it. So either way, it's going to be a good time. And with websites like chess.com and leadchess.org, it's pretty easy to find people at your skill level where you don't really know if you're going to win or lose.
And we're back.
Oh, Lord, we're actually starting.
Well, Jack is checking out his
No, get
chess.
back in the shot. We're talking about chess. We were looking at our chess data from that chess match right there. I started playing chess a bit like when Queen's Gambit came out because everyone was like, oh, chess.
Yeah, oh yeah. As soon as that show hit, everyone was like all of a sudden playing chess. And
yeah.
My roommate's like, hey, you play chess? And I'm like, no. He's like, you seen the Queen Gambit? You'll immediately play chess.
You know what I hate? You know what I hate? When things that like I used to do and people said like, oh, you're a nerd for doing that, then it becomes popular and everyone starts doing it. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
What else have you experienced that with?
You know, like, let me think. K-pop?
K-pop.
I'm kidding. I listen to K-pop, but I know people that like K-pop a lot, and it's really popular now.
Yeah.
Do you like K-pop?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
I think Julia likes K-pop, right?
Hot takes. No, it's the same thing with anime, I guess, though. I'm not an anime guy, but.
Anime, good example. Someone's calling me. Hold on, I gotta answer this.
Yeah?
Hello?
Yeah, hi. No, we're not filming a show here or anything. He's just.
Hello?
Hi. My name is Paul. I'm calling from U.S. Homes.
Oh, Lord.
How are you doing?
Oh, you're a robot, aren't you? You're not even real.
On today's episode of TUTV, we take scam calls with Jack.
Yeah, that was nobody. I hate that I get those calls nowadays, especially them like older and can buy stuff. So like, oh, do you want insurance? Do you want me to buy your house? I don't have a house.
For real.
You cannot buy my house. I do not own a house. I do not have insurance. Stop trying to sell me stuff that I don't have. You know what I mean?
I drive an old car, and like 3 times a week I get a thing going, your car warranty is expiring soon. I'm like, my car warranty expired 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This is ridiculous.
News to me, yeah. And I hate it. And I love that, like, they expect you to, like, follow along with it. Like, oh, yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Like, dude, you're responding every 10 seconds. You're not even listening to me. It's a robot, whatever. Well, enough ranting about that today.
Awesome. Well, we talked about robots. Nice.
Robots. Thanks for listening in today.
Those are the same robots that beat Jack at chess.
Yeah. See you guys.
See ya.